All right. So thank you everyone for tapping into another Telling the Truth with Tonya Tuesday. Now, yeah, I told y'all for that month of April, the focus is family, faith, and finance. April's financial literacy month, but I wanted to do something a little different. So I wanted to bring on guests to come to the truth table. Y'all, I'm doing something new. And this I'm inviting people to the truth table because it's time to tell the truth. Everybody got a table, talk about red table, purple table, blue table. I said, you know what? Let's do a truth table. So the truth table has arrived. So I want to share with you. I have a special guest that is on today. And she is many things. She's a mother, she's a wife, she's a believer, she's a servant leader. She is also a new author. Okay. Innovator, creator, new author. And I'm repping her, y'all. You can't see the shirt, so I'm gonna stand up. You see, she didn't even know I had it on.
I did it.
Yes. The author of Mama Goat. I have Miss Alicia Mama Goat Taylor on with me. And I need y'all to welcome her because we have some things that we're gonna talk about. Okay, we're gonna tell the truth about, share the truth about. And I'm gonna let her also share some exciting news and some things that she has coming up. So Alicia, sis, this is another sis from another mother, y'all.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, that was like one of those Steve Harvey introductions. You know how they
Girl.
always say he is like the the goat of introducing people. That was like one of those. I was like, okay, Tonya, hype me up then.
Yes. You girl, you're so deserving.
Thank you. I appreciate you always. You know that.
Absolutely. I know let me tell you something. One of the things, one of the reasons that Telling the Truth with Tonya exists is because, like, anybody that know me, people think they know me, y'all. People think they know me and they think they know my life, but I challenge them all the time. Ask me a question. Okay, because some of the things you think you know, that's a lie. So ask me a question. And I love genuine people, and she's one of those genuine spirits. So family is everything to me. I talked about that in my last interview with Anthony. Family is everything. So that's the first question I have for you, Alicia. What does it mean? What does family mean to you?
Family is everything to me as well. I was raised that way. My parents have always been big on, my family being close. I spend a lot of time with my family. Uh, and so it just became natural when I became a mother and had a family of my own that I just kind of continued that tradition, because sometimes when you can't count on anybody else, you can count on family. And what I've also learned throughout this journey of adulthood is family doesn't always have to mean that we are blood related.
Yes.
Because there are people that you can genuinely count on, that are genuinely there, that genuinely are clapping for you and want to see you win, with no strings attached, that aren't necessarily related to you. So I consider those people in my life as family as well. And like you said, that is everything. It is absolutely everything. And you are one of those people. You said that I'm genuine, but the feeling is definitely mutual, because we have conversations all the time. And I love you and your husband and your family. Family is actually what brought us together, being parents and being,
So true.
dedicated mothers out on the track and the football field. And that's really
Right.
how we met, but it's just blossomed into something totally different. And so I'm forever grateful for
And
meeting
I
you.
listen, it's mutual. And the one thing about me is, and I shared this in the last interview, like family is some people. Okay, so you remember the saying, blood is thicker than water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes that water, okay,
It's
is
true.
closer to you and
It's
more
true.
supportive than the blood. So
It's
I'm
true.
I'm I'm big on energy and spirit, and when I feel your spirit and your energy, that means something to me. So
That's right.
yeah, sometimes they're the most supportive.
It's true.
So I tell you what, mama goat, y'all see why? Y'all see? Y'all hear some of this mama goat life? Real, real time, right? Okay.
It's telling the
This
truth with
mentality.
Tonya, so we just telling the truth. This is what it is.
Listen, we gotta have a truth mentality. We gotta have a mama goat mentality. Let me tell you something, because if we the first teachers, and like she said, she learned it from her mama. Y'all, as parents, mamas, daddies, we the first teachers.
That's right.
Um, right, Alicia?
That's
It's
absolutely correct.
it's real. We got to remember that we trying to rely on so many different avenues, so many other different people that,
Yes.
you know, they ain't the first teachers. Let's tell the truth
No.
about this thing. Um, the word said train up a child in the way they should go, and they was
It
talking to
absolutely
you.
does. It absolutely does. And that's actually, I was thinking about it as I was kind of preparing for the interview, because we have had really no conversations. I was like, well, I don't know what she's
Mm-hmm,
going to ask me, but
mm-hmm.
I wanted to be genuine and off the dome. But I actually was thinking about that, and I'm like, that was really kind of what sparked this whole mama goat thing, was that I just don't really think that sometimes we as moms or parents in general really understand the magnitude of our role and how important and vital it is. I think that sometimes it's taken lightly and for granted, and we don't really
Right,
realize the long-term effects that that has on the child. And some adults spend their entire lives trying to rebound from something that happened, sometimes from their parents, or something that happened in their childhood that maybe they didn't feel comfortable sharing with their parents. And it's so I just
right.
think that it's just vital that we really just kind of are proactive in just opening those doors and opening that line of communication, and just really understanding how important we are to our
Yes,
kids. That's literally how we change the next generation. Like I just believe it. I really
yes.
do.
I listen. If it starts with the person in the mirror, I
Yes,
mean, point blank, period.
absolutely.
It starts with the person in the mirror, and we can't keep looking to everything and everyone else until we
That's
look
right.
at ourselves,
That's right.
because they are flesh of our flesh and
That's
blood of
right.
our blood, like they came from us. So yeah, we have to, we got to do our part, and we got to do our work so we can
That's right.
change the narrative. So you're right, I'm in agreement. I stand in agreement with you, sis, for sure. Um, so let me ask you this.
Okay.
Like family gatherings,
Okay.
are like they used to be. Let me talk about what they used to be, because I've been very vocal and very clear that like I'm so part of the, I ain't gonna say I'm part of, I think I'm leading the charge really on our family and getting back to where we
Yeah.
gather like we used to. So what would you say? Think about your family gatherings. Is there something that you can remember that was like, you know what, whether it was a funny story or just something because of the moment that's really memorable for you, that you would like to share? Is there any funny or memorable family gathering event?
Well, I think that when I'm with my immediate family, meaning outside of my household, like my parents and my siblings,
Uh-huh.
I think that it's just the genuineness. It's just like those spur of the moment, just random crazy laughs because somebody looked crazy, or somebody fell out of a chair, or somebody tripped over something. I think that it's just the laughs in general, not really something specific, but just the genuine happiness to be around family,
Yes.
and have fun together. I mean, honestly, and it's the same when I'm with my husband's side of the family. When we're at their family gatherings, it's just the laughs and just the genuine happiness to be together and be around each other. But you're right. I think that some of that stuff is lost. Like, back in the day, my friend and I were just talking about this the other day. I said,
Mhm.
I saw this meme on Facebook or something that said, I don't know what grandma used to do for a living, or how did she always have enough money to go around? Because your grandma used to always slide you a little change or
Yes.
whatever. And
Yes.
I was telling my friend, I said, not just money. I said, grandma always had enough food and money to go around. I said, so, back then we used to go to grandma's and everybody eat dinner, and there was always enough food. So we've kind of gotten away from those huge type gatherings, but I do think that it's important. that we do kind of bring some of that stuff back, because
Right.
life is, and I know it just sounds so cliche, but life is short.
Yes.
Life is short, and time does not belong to us. And so you don't want to be left singing shoulda, woulda, couldas. Oh, I ain't seen them in 20 years, and
Right.
all that kind of stuff. It's really important that family does stay in touch. And as you get older, it gets harder because everybody's doing their own thing. But even if it's just a text or a phone call, because one thing I've learned is that if God lays somebody on your mind or your heart, you need to reach out to
Mhm.
them. Reach out
You
to them.
listen, boom. Let me tell you something, y'all. We're gonna stop and part right there for just a moment, because two things you said that stuck out for me. Laughter is everything. Now, people,
Yes.
when people see me, like there's not many conversations you're gonna have with me where I don't smile or laugh.
Yes, me too. Me too.
And it does, you're right. It just does something for the soul. I don't care how you feeling. Think about something that made you smile or laugh, and do that, and instantly you will feel a
That's
difference.
right. That's right.
Instantly.
It's
So
true.
I challenge, like, y'all, this is the truth. No lies right here. I challenge any of you. I don't care what kind of day you having. Think about, I don't care if it's your favorite comedian. I don't care if it's something that you heard someone say. Think about something that made you laugh or smile, and watch your mood start to shift.
That's right.
So I'm totally in agreement with that. That's everything. If you're laughing every time you're around family
You
members,
gonna feel
because
better.
sometimes, y'all, let's tell the truth.
It
Sometimes
ain't
family members
always
will
like
make you
that.
want to.
It's not
Yes,
always like that.
exactly. Sometimes you be like, really?
Yep.
You almost want to cry around some family members.
Yep.
And that's why it's important to know your boundaries, and
Yeah.
it's important to know when it's time to go. Okay.
Yep.
So something else you said, girl, I just forgot that quick.
I know
Something else you
we was
dropped.
going.
Yeah, something else you dropped and you said, and I completely it'll come back to me. It'll come
It
back to
will.
me.
One of the other things I was going to say too is that here in our household, I did start as well is kind of I don't know if you would call it a tradition, but something that we went
Mhm.
back to is
Mhm.
that in our lifestyle, and I know you can relate, and I know we're just always on the go. So it's like, we may not
Yes.
always be home at the same time. I might be here. My husband ran to go pick my son up, and or I'm going to pick my daughter up. Somebody got practice, somebody got to go home and do homework, that type of thing. But
Right.
one of the things that we started, and I believe it was during the pandemic. I really don't know for sure when we started it, so I won't tell a lie. I'm telling the truth with Tonya Tuesday. But one of the things that I started was that we went back to eating dinner as a family. That didn't always happen because everybody was just moving, moving, moving. Somebody ate, now they
Yes.
going in the room. And so we are catching up on different things at different times. And I would notice that, and I would like, maybe I'm having an individual conversation with my son, and then I'm talking to my husband later. I'm like, hey, Dad. You're like, no, I didn't know that. So because we having all these side conversations, and I was like, you know what? So we went back to that, and there's no
Mhm.
devices. We just sit down and we have a conversation. And I remember my daughter said, no phones. What are we going to do? I said, oh, that's even more of a reason why we need to do it. You're going to talk. We're going to have a conversation. So
Yes.
that's something that we implemented too here in our house, is that we now eat dinner together. And that is just no interruptions, no phone calls, no internet, no Facebook, none of that. We're just tuned in to each
Yes.
other.
That's something I think we all need to, like, my Sundays, and we got away from this because we started to renovate our kitchen, and the process was longer because things weren't it took a while for things to well, right now what's going on,
Yeah.
like, if
Right.
you doing anything in your house, honey, it's
Yes.
gonna be a delay.
Yes.
But that was something that's always been, I'm like, if no other day, Sunday,
Yep.
we get into the table.
Yep.
And for me, Alicia, like every Sunday, my goal, and I done fell off because again, our lifestyles are not, they just
Right. It don't
they
work like that
different.
sometimes.
It
I
don't
know.
work like that sometimes, but Sundays is no electronic day.
Yep.
Like, get off that phone. Ain't no playing no games. like we're going to socialize and utilize real social skills. Social
Yes.
media ain't necessarily going to
It's
teach
not.
these kids social skills. And it's actually, we know it's doing what it's doing. It's actually putting them in a place where they don't have social skills when they're in
That's
front
right.
of people. So I
That's right.
love that. It's so important. And sitting down as a family. And let me tell you what I noticed it does as well, because I'm in a house full of men. You got some balance, girl. You got balance
I
at your
do
house.
have a
I'm in
little
a,
balance. I do. I do
girls.
have a little balance. Bless you.
Sometimes, literally, Alicia, when I tell you, sometimes I'm sitting at the table. I don't know how many times I said this to them. Listen, what if you are at a table with a recruiter, a coach, a business leader, an executive? Listen, you can't be eating like that.
That's right.
So these little things that when you're not sitting all at a table and you can teach on spot, you're going to miss
That's right.
that. Get that family to the table. I love that,
That's right.
Alicia.
That is so
I,
important.
yes, I'm in agreement. Get that family to the table, because it really goes back to what's important to me and what I preach, and people be like, oh, Tonya, we got to get back to the basics.
We do. We do. We do. There's some things that we can do differently that we can learn from things that have happened in the past, but there's also some foundational skills that need to be
Yes.
carried on as well. So you're
Yes.
absolutely correct.
There's some, now listen, there's some stuff that I learned, girl. Okay. That I'm like, Jesus, help me unlearn this. Help me unlearn
Yeah.
this. Tell
Yeah.
me, show me, grow me, because that was wrong. But there are some things that we
Yeah.
know were right. And
That's right.
we have to take inventory of ourselves, recognize, you know what, that was
right.
wrong. I realized
Right.
that teaching was wrong. But those things that were right, we got to we got to
pass them
hold
on too.
ourselves accountable.
Yep.
Yes, we have
Absolutely.
to. Mamas, listen, you want to be a mama goat. Okay.
It's true.
You want to be a daddy goat. Grandmas
Yep.
want, listen, there are so many things that needs to be unlearned, and y'all stop. We got to come to the truth table, and it ain't got to be my table. Take them to your truth table.
And you know, it is, and I think I've said this before. I talk a lot sometimes. So I don't know where I said it or when I said it. But what we have to remember too, as parents, grandparents, mentors, whatever our title or role is that sometimes we get into such a routine of teaching. I need you to hear me. I'm trying to teach you this. I'm trying to teach you this. You need to listen to me. But sometimes there's some things that we can also learn.
Yes.
From them as well, because to your point, we've been so accustomed to doing things a certain way. Doesn't necessarily mean that it was right. That's my grandma used to say, it's more than one way to skin a cat. So sometimes I might only know one way, but my child may be able to come along and say, well, teach me a different way to communicate with them. It ain't always about yelling. Sometimes it's not we getting a little, I do believe in spare the rod, spoil the child. But sometimes when you have, your child, and sometimes that's not spankings, and that's not always the answer.
Yes,
it works sometimes, but it's not always the answer. So I think that we have to be open-minded as well to receive that feedback that may be coming from them, and that's how that line of communication gets open, and they just feel comfortable enough to talk to you about those things. And we can't just tell them to come talk to us. I want you to come talk to me. But then when they come talk to you, you don't want to hear anything that they got to say either. Yes. We have to be open-minded. I tell my son all the time, I said, we can talk about anything. Now, I'm going to tell you, we might not always agree. Sometimes we may have to walk away agreeing to disagree.
Right.
But we can talk about it. And I absolutely commit to being open-minded about whatever it is that we're going to talk about. And maybe I know a different way. Maybe there's a reason why I can't agree with you. But if that's the case, we're going to talk through that so that I'm not just shutting you down because you're 15. Because sometimes that's what we do. We there's a term that these little kids say, like, you want little boy me. And sometimes we little boy them or little girl them, like kind of put them in a place because we're the parent and they're the child. But they also are human. So we don't want to, dehumanize them when we're talking to them. We don't have to, I wouldn't talk to him the same way I would talk to my friends, but there's just a way that a conversation can take place so that we can hear each other.
Girl, listen, you down my lane. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you why you down my lane. Because I was what I coined the silence. I was the silence little girl.
Mm-hmm.
I was the one where you don't know what you're talking about. You too young to know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I had uncommon wisdom. I have uncommon wisdom. So as a teenager, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. But I used to be thinking to myself, I do know what I'm talking about. And now as an adult, sometimes I wish like if you would have allowed me to speak. Y'all see this telling the truth with Tonya is it comes with layers, y'all. You understand? It comes with layers because there were some times like Alicia is alluding to, like I could have taught them something. You could have learned something. You were older, but God gave me uncommon wisdom.
That's right.
And we have to, and I say it all the time, Alicia, like I'll sit in, if you can teach me, my kids already know, like okay, this is the rule. But guess what? That rule, the rule it's not black and white. It's not in permanent marker.
No.
Plead your case. I'm gonna allow you to plead your case, but do understand when you come to the Tonya justice of peace, you better come with it. And it may stand or the rule may get bent. It depends on if you plead your case, because too many times we have been taught and we are teaching our kids that this is the rule and that's it. But they know that, but wait, but what if, and they don't say nothing, we silencing them and they may have a word.
And a lot of times, a lot of the quote unquote rules that are in place, we don't even really have no justification for it or a real reason behind it. When I did I spoke at a women's conference last year and I used this pot roast story. I don't know if you've heard this, but it's like a wives' tale, I guess you could say, where you know, this lady was cooking and she went to cut the ends of the pot roast before she put it in the oven. And so I think her daughter, because uncommon wisdom, you know, as generations happen, each generation gets wiser and wiser and wiser. Right. So her daughter questioned her and said, "Why are you cutting the ends off the pot roast?" Mm-hmm. And she said, "I don't know. That's just the way my mom always did it." She's like, "I don't know. Call your grandma, ask her." So she calls her grandma and she's like, "Why do you cut the ends?" She's like, "I don't know. I just did it because I always saw my mom do it." Right. So then they finally call, I guess, the great grandmother at this point, who's like in a nursing home or something like that. And they ask her why she always cut the ends off her pot roast. And she told them that she cut the ends off because at the time when her and her husband first got married, they had a very, very small oven and the full pot roast wouldn't fit in the oven. So they cut the ends off the pot roast so that they could fit in the oven. So how many years, I mean, and it's a pot roast, but how many years of wasted meat that we, you know what I mean, that we throw away, and nobody even knew why we were doing it. So it was just the theory behind that a lot of times we just do things because it's just been done and no one has really stood up to or had the guts to challenge the rule or see what it is. And there's an episode of the Cosby Show that's kind of the same theory when I think Rudy as the baby. Each generation gets wiser and wiser. She had this list of rules. I don't know why I got to go to bed. I think it was at 9 or 10 o'clock. I'm not sleepy at 9 or 10 o'clock. And so then Claire was like, you know, she has a point. Why do we make her? Why? He's like, well, all of our other kids' bedtime has been that time. And my parents made me go to bed at 10 o'clock. But why? Right. Why? She pled her case and they let her do it. And it turns out she needed the rest. But let's find out why we're doing some of these things, and not because this generation, they're a little different. And because I said so, don't really cut it these days. They want to know why, and they're not even necessarily being disrespectful. And I'm kind of like that. And I think I always have been. I have to ask my mom to confirm, but I think I've always been that type of person too. Like things, I know as an adult, I'm like that. Things have to make sense to me. Yes. Like you can't just tell me something and I'm just like, oh, okay. No, 2 + 2 has to equal 4 in my mind. And if you can't give me a justification for why we're doing this or why you want me to go along with this, like I can't. Like in my mind, I just can't make it make sense. Right. So we gotta be open-minded when it comes to these kids. We really do, because I keep saying it, these kids are built different. They're set up differently.
They really are. And when I mean it's when I think about like for real the interactions, anytime I interact with kids, I know I've been assigned to the youth. God ain't even have to tell me, but he had to remind me. But I knew at a young age that I was assigned to the youth. They were part of one of my assignments. So it's so interesting if I am one of those kids that used to question everything. Remember, I was the one they was like, you don't know what you talk about. I used to be like, I actually do, but I ain't gonna say nothing.
Right.
Because you think it's disrespecting you. So I'm not gonna say anything. But I love to listen to them. I was just in front of a class of kids today, and I love to listen to them, and because we can learn from them.
Absolutely.
They get wiser and wiser, and they help me with sharpening my iron.
That's right.
The tools that I have that I know I have to give to them. If I don't give it to them in the way that they're going to receive it, then I'm just sitting up here talking and talking and talking and talking.
They're not
and
even
what's
listening.
the point? And they're not listening. It's not effective. So in family, it's so important for us to, understand as parents, as guardians, aunties, and even uncles and cousins. They need us. They listening to us. And when I tell you, when you talk about faith, because faith is one of the other pillars that, and I touched on, we touched on the other, we touched on one of those, training up a child in the way they should go. Like that is everything. And because April is Financial Literacy Month.
Yes.
One of the ways that I talk to my sons about money is I make it conversational. Like I keep it everyday language. There's some times when we'll sit down and we'll talk about certain things, or if I'm teaching the class, they ain't got no choice, but they're gonna be on it or be in the class. But I like to use just like everyday moments, to have those conversations. Is there something specific that's a tailor-made conversation? Oh, girl, you see how I did that?
Yeah, I see what you did there. One of the things that we talk about specifically, more so with my son, my daughter hasn't gotten to that specific point where we're that specific about the conversation, but I drill credit in his head, because I don't think that I know that with me, I know with my mom, there's things that you learn about, but nobody really, really adequately prepared me for the importance of keeping your credit good, or how quickly it can go left for you. And then you spend years trying to dig yourself, out of a hole, talking about, ownership. And I think I can really go on and on about this, because this is like something that I'm very passionate about, because we keep talking about changing the narrative for the next generation. And we talk about that credit and the importance of keeping your credit good, because your credit is like your integrity. It's who you are. So when somebody looks at this piece of paper, you might not be in front of them, or they may not know anything about you. So all they can do is judge you by this piece of paper. And are you reliable? Can I count on you to do what you said you were going to do? That's what this piece of paper is going to tell me. We talk a lot about ownership. At a young age, I tell my son all the time, you don't ever have to rent an apartment if you don't want to. When you're 18, or when you come back from college, if you need to come back home and live at home until you're ready to buy you a house, you can absolutely do that. And I know that, in our day and age, it was like, oh, I can't wait till I get 18. I can't wait till I get 18. I can't wait till I get 18.
Right.
Just so you can go out and get an apartment, work in a job, barely making ends meet, just to say, what, I got my own place. You know what I mean? Maybe have a little bit of freedom. But then I think that's where that communication happens, because if we have that open communication where we can talk through certain things, I don't feel like, meaning as a child in their mind, I don't feel pressured to want to get out of here. It's kind of all right here. I can live here a few more years. You know what I mean? And I think that's where that rabbit hole starts for us as a people, is that we're just so raring to get out on our own. And then we don't get to concentrate on school, or we don't get to concentrate on, learning a trade or whatever it is that we want to do. because now I need my freedom. I want my space. I want to get out of there. And so the only way that I can get my space is I got to work to pay these bills in order to be able to afford my space. And so it's just, the cycle just continues from there. So I'm very open and transparent. I talked about transparency today. I'm very open and transparent in that regard with my son financially. I just told him the other day, we talked about our whys and why. I told him, you need to define your why. Why is it that you want to do whatever it is that you want to do? That's what's going to keep you motivated. And for me, I told them one of my whys, one of them is that I never, ever, ever, and I've been saying this for years, even before Mama Goat was a thing. I've been saying for years that I never, ever, ever want my children to know what it feels like to struggle financially. I never want them to understand. I never want them to not know how they're going to pay a bill, or, I just don't want them to even have to think about that. Because other kids are born into, being well off. Why can't our kids? God said he'll have no respective person. So that's one of those things that I'm very adamant about when it comes to my kids, and just teaching them, certain things in regards to that. But it is financially related, because I think financial literacy is one of those things that has had us as a culture in a chokehold.
Oh my goodness.
It really has.
It's one of my passions. It's one of the things that drive me. And so credit is king. Okay. Credit is king. Like, and it shows who you are on paper. And then when we think about opportunities, I'm sure you have a story I can think of some times when you heard when you were younger, or at least I can say, like, I remember hearing someone saying, oh yeah, I came across it was an awesome opportunity. Like they were selling some land or selling the house, and it was so cheap, but guess what? They didn't have the money for
the credit.
Or the credit for it. And it was like, but to me as a child, it was like, but y'all always, y'all clean, y'all deck to the nines, you dry this, you don't have. So it's credit is everything. And we have to have these financial conversations. And if you're not having them with your children, your nieces, your nephews, whoever you are the guardian over, then you want to make sure you putting them in front of trusted people, because everybody ain't gonna tell them the truth.
That's right.
A lot of them want to take advantage of our kids and our student athletes. Let me just be clear. Let me just drop a little bit. Not on my watch. Not if I'm in front of you and you in one of my classes, or we doing something one-on-one. Listen, not on my watch. It's a lot of them taking advantage of our kids who got them, positioned them to have the opportunity, but because of the lack of financial literacy, the financial education, the money talks, however you want to label, because they haven't been having that conversation. It ain't their fault. But you taking advantage of them. Listen, we finna change that narrative, Alicia. Right?
And we definitely changing. And it's something that you said is that that was key for me, is that as parents, we don't always know everything. So I want to be clear about that, is that I might have a conversation. I told you this a week, like, that's not even my lane. Like, I'm wise enough to know that I need him to have this information, but it's not my lane. And so as parents, sometimes we have to go back to the village, because the village is important. A good village is important. And so I know that there are some things that my kids need to know. So maybe I wasn't the best with my credit. Maybe I'm not really all that financially literate. So maybe I don't have the knowledge, but I do know that I want life to be different for my child. So what do I need to do? And I told my mom I was going to be on live, and she calling me.
That's okay.
I know that I want things to be different. Find somebody who can do that, who can help my child with that information. And so sometimes as a culture, and I keep saying it because it's true, we have so far to go as a people. But we don't sometimes, you better not say nothing to my child. That's my child. That's mine. I'll take care of him. But baby, you don't have all the answers. You don't. And so if if you transparently, if you had all the answers, you may be a little bit further than you are in life. And
Right.
that's just
Facts.
telling the truth.
That's just the
So
truth.
if it's the truth. So I don't have all the answers. So here's the reason why I send my child to school, or I send them to college, or I send them, I'm researching and things like that, because I don't have all the answers. So as a parent, we also have to be open-minded and wise enough to know that if I don't know it, my child still needs to know it if I want them to be better than I am. And I think that ultimately that is every parent's goal, is that for their child to be better than they are, better than they were, further along than they were at a particular age. So we got to help them get there. And we may not be the person to get them there. We do have to acknowledge that too.
Right. And that's huge. And in order for us to end some of these generational curses, in order for us to break some of these strongholds that we want off of our family lineage, we have to self-evaluate and be like, you know what? Actually, that person may be better. I feel like I can do it, but you ain't listening to me.
Yep. That's true. That's a good point too.
You're not even listening. If I know that I'm not getting through, then guess what? I have to say, you know what? Have you ever talked to, I noticed you have a good conversation with such and such. And it takes us to want better for our kids and to drop our ego sometimes to do that. So it really is important. We have to we want to change this narrative. It starts, once again, it starts with self. If we want to change the trajectory of our families, we have to look in the mirror. And our finances, we have to look in the mirror. Okay. We got to have a little more faith.
One of our mission statements is becoming the best version of ourselves in all areas of our life, because that's important. In order for you to be the best parent, you have to, as an individual, be better. You have to be trying to be a better person before you can be a better parent. You can't teach what you don't know.
Right. Overall, I love it. Y'all listen, this Telling the Truth with Tonya Tuesday. Listen, if you don't know, you at the truth table, but y'all, you at the truth table. You understand? We got Alicia, Mama Goat Taylor, and she has dropped so many gems. And she has another event that's coming up, and I can't wait. I'm gonna be in a place. So I'm gonna definitely drop in the comments, and you of course can visit her page. But Alicia, you want to tell the audience a little bit about what's going on in
Absolutely. May? So May the 7th, which is a Saturday, it's the day before Mother's Day, Mama Goat is having its very first, or because I've been told there's no such thing as a first annual. So we're having our inaugural Mama Goat brunch. We're having a Mother's Day brunch. So I plan on this being an annual event. I plan on every year getting bigger and better. So we would love to have your face in the place. The brunch is themed because I know that women love a good theme. I know I do. So every year I'm going to try to make a fun and creative theme so that we get to dress up. Women like to find a reason or have a reason to get cute and pretty and, and dress up. And it's Mother's Day.
Right.
So the actual event, or the theme for the Mother's Day brunch this year, is Hats Off to Mom. And with the Hats Off to Mom, we absolutely want you to come out and be celebrated. We want to tip our hats to you, and not just to you, but all the things that you do as well. And so we ask that you just grab a headpiece, and whatever kind of headpiece you want to come in, your spring attire or whatever it is, but come out. And if you don't have a headpiece, so what? Come out anyway. Tickets are $25. We have a menu laid out. I mean, it's going to be a fun time. I wish that you would all come out and join us. It's over at the Woodmont Clubhouse in Temple Terrace. I'll be sure as well you can go to my page, Alicia Taylor, or you can go to the Mama Goat page. I'm sure Tonya will drop the link for that as well. But there are flyers that are circulating around social media. But this is going to be a phenomenal event. Ticket sales are going to be ending very soon. I will leave a few open for the listeners here, just in case you guys want to join us. And I really, really hope you do. I think that you will be blessed by coming out. I think you'll have a lot of fun. I like to have fun. As Tonya stated earlier, I like to laugh. So there will be lots of laughs. I have brought my cousin down from Atlanta. I'm flying her down for the event. She is going to be the MC / hostess. She is a phenomenal entertainer. So I can guarantee you that the laughs are going to be nonstop. I really just want this to be a lighthearted, fun event where moms can kind of get together, let their hair down, and really just have fun. It's Mother's Day. That weekend is all about you. So I really do hope that you're able to come out and join us.
I can't wait. Y'all listen, don't miss it. Definitely don't miss it. Like,
yes,
we have been like stuck. A lot of mamas have been stuck. These dedicated mamas, let me talk to the dedicated mamas.
Come on.
Listen, dedicated mama.
Listening.
A dedicated mama sometimes so dedicated that she forgets sometimes to celebrate herself.
That's right. That's right.
I'm talking to myself, y'all. Did you see me lean forward? Because I'm listening to myself as well. Yep. We have to remember to enjoy ourselves, celebrate ourselves, because when you're so dedicated, like, you forget to celebrate the wins. So I can't wait. I remember when she told me, she gave me the save the day. I was like, girl, I can't wait. Yes. So I'm excited for you. I'm so excited for you. I'm so happy for you. I see some great things. I'm getting chills saying it, because I remember our first conversation. I was just checking in with you. And then boom, she was like, I got something going on. And boom, this book came out. And I was like, girl, I see this. Great things. A lot of great things is about to flow. If y'all ain't on notice, it's already flowing.
Yeah, that's right.
It's already flowing. And if you pay attention, the light of the world is shining. So watch to see who's shining. And those are the people that you want to be around, because when that overflow happens,
come on, Tonya.
When that overflow happens, if you just a salsa around the cup, you're going to get a little drip. Okay. So y'all be in the place, because the light, the light of the world is standing up and shining, and pay attention to who they are. She one of them. Okay. Girl, I'm gonna stop before I get into it. I'm gonna stop there, but I'm so appreciative for you. I'm excited for you. I know the great things, like the Taylor gang. Let me tell you something. Yes. God is in the business. He is in the sauce. And thank you for coming to the Truth Table. Thank you for sharing your light with us today.
Absolutely. Anything. I just told my husband the other day, I said, I got to do this with Tonya. I said, I'll do anything for Tonya. Tonya is my people. Tonya is good people. So thank you for having me, for thinking enough of me to have me on. I enjoyed it as always. It's always like us just having a conversation. So it never feels like work. Because we're just having a conversation. But yes, I really, really do hope that some of the viewers are able to come out and join us at the brunch. I actually have some merchandise there. So if you seeing some Mama Goat merchandise around, or you hear the book that Tonya is referencing, it will be there. I actually, hold on one second. Because I got some love. I have the book here. So this book will be available for purchase at the brunch. It's a very easy read. It's not big at all. It looks how thin it is. It's packed, but it's a very easy read. I wanted it to be easy and digestible. So if you are interested in the book, those will be available. You don't even have to pay for shipping. It'll be right there. You can take it home that day. I also have a journal, a Mama Goat journal.
It's done.
That 30-day self-reflection journal. So you guys can pick those up as well. Those will be available. And then last but not least, I actually have a planner as well for the busy moms like myself. This is a very interactive planner. I know that we're in May, so people probably like, you get planners in January. It's not dated, because I personally don't like dated journals or planners, because I get hard. It's hard for me to keep up. But all of those things will be available for purchase there as well. There may be some prizes. There might be some. There's a lot that might be happening. So if I were you, I would be in the place.
Y'all listen, don't miss these goodies. Come and be celebrated. Come and laugh. come and enjoy some good food. Come and get you some Mama Gold merch. Okay, listen, please be there. May 7th. Again, we're gonna drop the additional details, and you can also go to Alicia's group. It's Mama Goat Life, right?
Yes.
Mama Goat Life,
that's correct.
her Facebook group, and I'll share that link as well. But listen, this has been great. Again, April, we're coming towards the end of April, and start your May off right. Celebrate yourself and celebrate the mamas you love. Y'all come in and celebrate together. So y'all, this telling the truth with Tonya and Alicia Taylor. She's at the truth table, and y'all got some truth today. And I hope you take it and you implement some of these things that we've done and that we continue to do as dedicated mamas. I hope, listen, it ain't because we that great. We done failed so many times, but part of telling the truth with Tonya and every guest I bring on, I want them to share some things that they do, because I want y'all to not have to fall as much as I have fallen, maybe as much as even Alicia have fallen. And that's what telling the truth with Tonya is all about. We got to speak our truths to power. We have to, because there's enough lies going around, y'all. And guess what? If they ain't telling the truth, y'all, then they lying. Call them out. Tell them to come to the truth table and debate them. But thank you again, Alicia. And
absolutely.
I can't wait. I'll see you probably soon. And that's probably your mama now, ain't it? Yeah.
just pray for me and her.
Oh, I love your mama. She a dedicated mama. You a dedicated mama. Y'all got it honest. You got it honestly. So
in her mind, I'm probably laying in a ditch somewhere because I ain't answered the phone.
Oh my gosh, oh baby. That's a mama thing. So thank you so much for joining Telling the Truth with Tonya. And y'all tap in for another episode. I hope y'all got something. And if you want to come to the truth table, you can email me at tonya@txbfinancial.com or inbox me. Text me if you have my phone number, whatever it is, DM me, whatever social media platform you're on. But y'all, it's time to tell the truth. It's time to come to the table and talk about something that's uncomfortable. And I'm here for it. Telling the truth, Tonya is here for it. I may not even be comfortable with the conversation, but if it's something that's on your heart to speak, revelation can come through the conversation. So inbox me. But other than that, y'all have a great rest of your week. Peace and blessings. Thank you again, Alicia.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
Take care.